Veritas in tenebris. Lumen ad revelationem.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Obscure Testament. Tonight's story takes us deep into the decaying heart of 18th century Europe, to a manor whose walls were built not only of stone but of silence, blood, and greed. In 1784, nestled among the fog-soaked hills of Hungary, there lived a nobleman named Lord Emil Voros. He was known across the countryside for his wealth, for his collection of gold and relics taken from wars long past, and for his strange habit of never trusting another living soul. Those who worked for him whispered that he spoke to his coins at night, that he kept ledgers of every piece of silver, every jewel, every spoon. Yet no one dared question him, for servants in those days were not people, they were possessions. The manor itself stood like a black mark upon the land, high gates, windows shuttered even in daylight, and a garden where nothing grew. Travelers spoke of music drifting from the empty halls, of lanterns swaying though no wind blew. And those who entered as servants often never came out again. Lord Voros's obsession with his treasure bordered on madness. He'd inherited vast riches from his father, gold from Ottoman vaults, silver crosses from monasteries, jewels stripped from royal corpses. But he feared thieves, war, and even his own bloodline. He trusted no one. He once dismissed his steward merely for asking where the family vaults were located. Another servant was whipped for polishing a golden chalice without permission. Then came the rumor that drove him over the edge. One bitter winter, a messenger brought word that bandits had begun raiding noble estates in the neighboring valley, breaking into tombs and crypts to seize whatever valuables were buried with the dead. Lord Voros became consumed with panic. He could not bear the thought of his treasures being touched, even after his death. He summoned his workers, 6 servants, all of whom had served him faithfully for years, and told them he was building something sacred, a chamber beneath the manor to protect his soul's inheritance. The servants dug for days in the frozen soil, their hands raw, their breath forming clouds in the darkness. The nobleman himself oversaw every stone laid, every nail driven, every torch lit. He allowed no outsiders, no priests, not even his relatives to visit. When the vault was finally complete, it was a marvel of engineering. Thick limestone walls, iron gates, and a single stairway descending into blackness. The nobleman spent hours arranging his treasure, chests of coins, jeweled crowns, candelabras, ivory crucifixes. He lined the floor with the bones of his ancestors, as if to remind himself that the dead guarded him already. Then came the night of the feast. He invited the 6 servants to dine with him, something he had never done before. The long table glowed with candlelight. Wine overflowed, and roasted meat steamed on silver platters. The servants, though uneasy, were flattered. They had never seen him smile before. That evening, he spoke gently, almost like a father. He thanked them for their loyalty, for their labor, for their unquestioning obedience. When midnight came, he asked them to follow him into the vault. He said he wished to show them the legacy they had helped him preserve. Down they went, torches flickering, footsteps echoing until the last of the light was swallowed by the stone. What happened next was pieced together only years later, when the manor was finally abandoned and the vault unearthed. Inside, Lord Voros ordered each servant to stand before a chest or a pile of coins, telling them they would now watch over these treasures for eternity. The servants laughed nervously, thinking it a joke, until they heard the first sound of stone grinding, the iron door being shut behind them. By the time they realized what was happening, the nobleman had locked the gate. He spoke softly through the bars, saying, "You have served me in life. You shall serve me in death." The screams that followed were muffled by the thick walls. He left them there with torches, food, and water enough for perhaps a day. Then he sealed the outer entrance with brick and mortar, whispering a prayer to himself as he worked. For weeks afterward, the manor remained eerily silent. Villagers who delivered supplies noticed that the windows were darker than before. that a faint stench drifted through the courtyard. The nobleman refused to answer questions. He simply said his servants had been sent away to rest. Months passed. Then one night, during a storm that split the sky with lightning, neighbors saw the manor's upper windows blazing with light. Some swore they heard pounding beneath the ground, like fists against wood. Others said they saw figures thin, pale, and moving in the garden long after midnight. Lord Voros was found dead in his study the next morning, slumped over his desk, his eyes wide open, and his mouth frozen in what looked like terror. His servants were never seen again. Decades later, in 1832, after the manor had fallen into ruin, workmen rediscovered the vault while repairing a collapsed foundation. When they broke through the sealed door, the air that escaped was rancid, heavy with decay. Inside, they found the 6 skeletons exactly where legend had placed them, each kneeling beside a chest, as though still guarding it. Some had their hands raised toward the ceiling, nails embedded in the stone. Others appeared to have clawed at the walls, and in the center of the room sat Lord Voros's gold, untouched, but among the coins something strange, 7 empty wine cups, still arranged neatly in a circle. The 7th cup, the nobleman's own, was filled with dust and bone fragments. The local clergy refused to consecrate the ground. The manor was abandoned once more, and those who ventured near at night spoke of muffled sobs rising from below, of the faint clinking of coins when the wind passed over the hills. To this day, villagers claim that if you stand near the ruins on a moonless night, you can hear 6 voices whispering beneath the earth, servants who still guard their master's treasure, forever bound by his greed. And sometimes, they say, you'll see a 7th shadow standing among them, the nobleman himself, counting every coin he damned them for. Thank you for watching Obscure Testament. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories from the shadows.